Well, hey guys, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Great to be back here with you. Please make sure you've subscribed. Hit those little subscribe buttons under here. It makes a huge difference. I'm stoked to have you with me today. I am going to be talking about, I guess, the nefarious forces that are trying to disconnect you from your own life and the things that are most important to you. Just before we get there, housekeeping, go and check out the links under here. You can book me to speak. You can get a free copy of my book, Bridging the Gap. And today, it's worth checking out the podcast version. There's a link under here to my podcast version of the same content because I go heaps deeper today and that's a bit longer. Try to keep these short. So what else? Oh, I just signed up for a 255 kilometer bike race with 5,000 meters of vertical climbing. And then 10 days after that, I've signed up to do an ultra marathon trail run. October is going to be interesting, friends. I'm training hard. I'm pretty much wrecked all of the time. But I do want to encourage you because I know a lot of you hear me talk about this stuff and you think, Jonathan, you are completely unhinged. That may or may not be true, but my point is it's relative. Lately, I've been saying to people, if your exercise at the moment simply consists of walking to the letterbox and that's it, your job is not to do a 255 kilometer bike race. Your job's to walk to the letterbox twice. All of us are learning, all of us are growing, we're all on a journey to increasing levels of wholeness, energy, and contribution. All that matters is forward momentum. My forward momentum will look different to yours. Yours will look different to everybody else's, but just keep moving forward. All right, that's a long intro. Let's get into today's content. I reached out yesterday to all my list and I asked you guys what your main questions, problems, challenges are in life. It was really cool. I got so many great responses from people from Texas to London to New Zealand, all around the world. So the next few weeks, please stay tuned. Make sure you've subscribed because I'm just going to do user-generated content. I'm going to be answering your questions about the real issues and problems that you face because I've got all the answers, right? Because I've completely figured out the meaning of life. No. But look, for many years, I've just had an interest in the questions. I've had an interest in how do we improve. I'm still on the path, but hopefully I've got some wisdom for you guys. So the next few weeks are going to be really good. I was going to start that today, but I read this quote this morning in my morning reading that just really hit me. I think it's an important topic. What I want to talk to you about is the attention economy. What I want to talk to you about is the way that our attention is being fragmented. That the current economic model of late-stage capitalism is one that needs us to consume, and we need to be plugged-in consumers all the time. And for that to happen, we have to have our attention hijacked on a very regular basis. Now, in the podcast version, I explain why this has happened. There's 2 quick points. I'll spin you through them. First, there is a big merger between government, big corporations, and mainstream media. It's a logical result of late-stage capitalism. Why? Because the dominant source of revenue for mainstream media, I'm sure you're aware of this, is either government advertising or the advertising of large companies, right? So the impartiality that our media may once have had, because it had a very diffused advertising base, there's now a lot of capture. So media, mainstream media, is unlikely to push back in any way against the narratives of government and large corporations. Why? Because that's like biting the hand that feeds you, right? So a lot of the information, a lot of the fear-based, those are the bad guys, these are the bad guys, don't do this, go there, do that, don't do that. A lot of that's coming because there's very few competing voices, right? So I think we're in a moment in history where there's a lot of fear, a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of blaming and fear that's just growing all the time. And part of it is because the way that we receive our information has kind of been forced into a very narrow band. Second point, it used to be that if you wanted to produce content, you either had to own a radio station, own a newspaper, or own a TV station, right? So there was only a very small number of people that could get our attention. Now we can all publish very easily. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, any of the main platforms, everybody and their goldfish has a channel. I have a channel. You're watching it. You know what I mean? Like there's just now so much competition for our attention. But let me share with you the quote that I read today. It's going to help understand why I feel passionately about this and why I think it's important that you understand it too. Let's jump to this quote. The modern age is an attention economy. And those things upon which you spend yours will grow and flourish. And so, if we would thrive in the attention economy, we must spend our attention more wisely. We must focus on our flourishing and not upon those who bait us. All right, I think this is pretty simple to understand. It's an attention economy, so we have to get very, very good at where we choose to place our attention, because if you're not deliberate about this, if you're not conscious about this, you are going to be swept up into what I think is a kind of parallel reality. What is real? Relationships are real. Love is real. Connection with friends and family. Nature is real. Our human spirits, our desire for connection, belonging, love, transcendence, spirituality, those things are real. A lot of the attention economy is a parallel universe that will suck you into ways of thinking and being that can be extremely problematic. So this quote reminds us of the need to choose where we place our attention. Why? Because where we place that attention, that will grow and flourish in our lives. We're going to get more of that. So if you focus on fear, darkness, all the ways you are not as beautiful, talented, rich, famous as the person that you're following or the content that you're viewing, it leads to resentment, bitterness, doubt, confusion, blame, suspicion. And then I think we get led. I think we get led by sheep. You put enough fear into the world, then what happens is we want a savior, right? We want someone to come and fix our problems, and then we become susceptible to whatever kind of ideas are suggested might be the solution to our problems. Hint, if you've been paying attention, that's pretty much what the last 3 years just looked like. All right, what else? Robert Frost, the American metaphysical poet, beautifully said in one of his poems that a man is what he thinks about all day. That a man is what he thinks about all day. You know, some of you get the language, right? The human person is what they think about all day. Where we place our attention changes our character over time. We become what we think about all the time. So it becomes very important to choose where your attention goes in this attention economy. I don't have any social media except for YouTube, right? The irony. I'm telling you, I don't have social media. You know, social media for me is a distribution platform. YouTube is a distribution platform. They could cut me off in a heartbeat, but I don't have any other social media. I had a big following years ago and deleted everything. So I no longer have any social media accounts. Why? I found it distracting. I found it fear-based. I just had other things to do with my life. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that's what I did. Okay, what else? Let's choose where we place our attention. Let's get back into our own lives. Let's get back into the things that really matter. And in the podcast version, I finished with a beautiful quote from St. Paul's letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 8, where he says, "Brothers and sisters, whatever is praiseworthy, noble, beautiful, true, worthy of praise, think about those things." Friends, that was written in the 1st century AD. That was written over 2,000 years ago. Back then, St. Paul understood that where we place our attention really matters. It changes who we are. So I want this to be an encouragement to you. This is not scolding you. This is not blaming you. This is just saying, hey, you're the captain of the ship. Big corporations are not the captain of your life. Government is not the captain of your life. And advertising companies and legacy media is not the captain of your life. You are the captain of your life, which means you get to choose who you become. You get to choose who you become by where you place your attention over time. Okay, that's a lot. Check out the podcast version. I go deeper. Now, what else? Just look, practically do an audit. Just look at your life and say, do I get up every day and burn 40 minutes, swiping through my social media every day? Do I spend all this time listening to fear-based media telling me how to think, what to consume, what to be afraid of, who the bad guys are? Go read Substack. Get on Substack. Go and find a whole bunch of people that you trust. I'm not telling you who to follow. I'm just saying go on Substack, do some research, and you reach out to me. I'll give you a list of people you can start reading and following and thinking about, because real journalism, real deep analysis is disappearing off the mainstream platforms, and it's going into all sorts of diffuse places. So I don't want anyone telling me how to think. I want to read a lot of sources and make up my own opinions. And I think the more of us do that, the better. The more we reclaim our liberty, our freedom, our relationships, our connections to each other. This stuff really matters. We're at a pivotal moment in history. This is meant to be the short version. Now look what I've done, huh? I've gone way too long. I don't even go longer in the podcast version. Listen, God bless you. Please make sure you've subscribed. Share this with people. I've got a lot more to say over the next few weeks, so make sure you've subscribed. Do me a favor. Share this on your social feeds. I don't have social feeds, so I'm looking to you to help me out. There's no paradox or irony in that, telling you not to use it and then go, yeah. All right. God bless you. Praying for you. Hoping you're just on that journey to becoming all that you can become. My name's Jonathan Doyle. This has been the Daily Message. You and I are going to talk again tomorrow.